Welcome in, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We are back at it. Last week, a little hiatus, but we're back at it, guys. Mexican Open couldn't keep us down. A couple good golfers here. Myself, Conor Mac, bringing you guys the heat, the action, all you need to know here at Pub Sports Radio. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is going to be a breakdown of the Mexican Open Vidanta at Vallarta. This is going to be, I believe, the second time, Conor, they've played here this year. It's at Playa del Carmen. Great spot if you guys have a vacation. You want to go to a PGA event here, I believe, going forward. So Playa del Carmen, Mexico. Greg Norman design, Conor. Funny enough, Greg Norman's got his finger in the PGA. So they're going to be at old Greggy's design here. And it's not an easy course, to say the least, guys. We'll get into last week, too. Don't worry. But this week, guys, I want to get right into it. It's a par 71. It's 7,456 yards. And we're losing a par 4. There's going to be 5 par 3s, guys, 4 par 5s. And then we only have, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 par 4s, Conor. So this is a different track Greg Norman has designed. But before I get too much into that, Conor, how you doing today, brother?
I'm good, my man. I'm ready to talk Mexican Open.
Yeah, but how'd you do last week?
You know, coming off after the win the week before was a lot better.
Yeah, I gotta give you props for that, man.
But I thought I had some right guys right there, you know, with Hadwin and even Moore and Neesmith. So just didn't get it. And they were right on my list of 4 or 5 teams, and some kind of blew it, you know. We were talking rough Fridays and Sundays. You know, you're really the alternate. You have to play. Both guys got to play well. One guy can't carry you, you know, and you saw that in those days like the Fitzpatrick brothers. I think one brother was playing real well.
You go so far when buddy's putting in the bunker and you're hitting the fairway. It's like, come on, man. Like, I'm trying to do the best I can here, or vice versa.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it was a good point. We almost hit Mitchell. I had Mitchell and M there too. They just couldn't do anything on Sunday, but shout out to Nick Hardy and Davis Riley. Davis Riley slowly been playing better golf. Finally got the win. Same with Nick Hardy, 2 younger players. I believe Davis Riley was from the area too, down in Louisiana. Runner-up, though, the Canadians, Hadwin and Taylor shot a 63, guys. I believe that was 9 under, par 72 last week. So they almost closed the door, just not enough holes to get it done. Then Cantley and Alexander finished T4, and then our guy Eamon Mitchell finished a T6. Just missed that T5, unfortunately, last week. But moving on, can't talk about the past. We only talk about what's going on in the future here. And we got Vidanta and Vallarta, guys. This is the Mexican Open. Like I said, guys, par 71, the spring swing. Greg Norman design, like I said already. It's the 6th longest, though, Conor, on tour. Very long. The average par 4 or 5 is 495. So you definitely need a strong tee to green. Even a little bit of distance wouldn't hurt you either.
It should carry, though. Well,
yeah, it should carry. But here's the thing, Conor. Elevation rank is it's the 6th lowest. So there is some spots that are higher, but it's actually surprisingly lower. A lot of bunkers, 106 bunkers here, guys. 3rd most on the tour. So you're going to need some good bunker stats. 12 holes that have water, 6th most on the tour. And we're going to be dealing with Pass palm. I'm butchering the word for this, unfortunately, but this is the type of grass they're going to be dealing with, guys. There's bent grass, there's Bermuda, there's POA, and then it's rare, but I usually get these on the coastal golf courses, and that's pass palm. The fairways and the greens are going to be pass palm, Conor. So I got 3 golf courses that are great course comparisons related to this course we can look at. And then talking about the greens, 7,000 square feet average, Conor. They're quite large, 8th largest. So we're going to look at guys 3-putt avoidance is going to be very key, I think, at this golf course. And they're not too quick, about 11.5 on the stimp meter. So that's a little breakdown about the course for you guys. Top players at this event: John Rahm's the heavy hitter, plus 280. I saw at some books, Conor, maybe even lower. Next is going to be our guy Tony Baloney, Tony Finau, Alex Noren, Andrew Putnam, Davis Riley, Woodland, Clark, and McNeely. Not a lot of that. That's the top 100 official world golf rankings. So it's a lower event, guys. But again, a good spot to make some money there. What's going on, RVD 420? Good to see you in the chat there. Let's cash some more tickets. Appreciate it as always. FedEx Cup. I'll go with the FedEx Cup top golfers as well. A little bit different than the ownership. That's going to be Rogers, Wallace, Ben Taylor, Cole, Wu, Robbie Shelton, and Smalley are all golfers that are having a really good year this year that you might not exactly know, but can cash you some tickets or at least some top 20s, I think, going forward. Conor, you want to go over anything before I get into some more stats? Or
No, Rom is the guy here. You talked about it. Basically, it's just him. Last year, he had won. I think Finau played too, right?
He
You're kind
did.
of like the only two real big ones even last year in this event. And everything will be all right if that guy that's not, 3-1 or below, to win here. So
Uh,
yeah, but I
and
think we're live with some guys here this week.
absolutely, absolutely. And Rahm and Fino did finish 1-2 last year. I don't see it going them going back to. They did finish 1-2 last year.
I
Runner ups
know.
was Kitayama and Brandon Wu, but
Yeah.
you know what? Like these elevated events, this is such a smaller event, guys. The purse is only 8 million, so for the most part, this is when you can get those lower names to show up. The elevated events, you haven't seen a guy really other than Kitayama, who I think was 60 or 70-1 at the I want to say the Arnold Palmer, I believe it was. Other than that, it's going to be the top names. But these lower events, great opportunity, in my opinion, to take advantage of the field here, Connor. So
Definitely.
yeah, let me get into last year's stats here for you guys. First, second was Rahm Finau. Tee to green. Let's go over to some tee to green stats. Golfers that can get around this track quite well last year. That was Finau, Rahm, Lipsky, Woodland, Novak, Smalley, Wu, Garnett, Rye, Sig, and Hodges were all on the tops tee to green last year. And then looking at putting, because putting, you really want to be you got to be familiar with these weird pulse pull greens. Butchering the name again. What's going on, Dabby Cab? Shout out to Dabby Cab. Great OG here at Pub Sports Radio. Appreciate you tuning in, my guy. But yeah, about this golf course, these greens they're just they're different. You really want to be familiar on these greens. So let's go over the putting from last year at this golf course, Connor. Number one was your defending champ last week. That's Davis Riley, champ, Brandon Wu, Lashley, Rogers, Reevy, Rom, Jaeger, Griot, and Smalley. We're all tops there at putting at this golf course. Because again, guys, there's only 3 courses, and I'll go over those 3 courses actually just right now for you real quick. That's going to be Connor Mayakoba. This was in Mexico. That's going to be the key course comparison. Corrales. This was in, I believe, the Dominican Republic, where they also have this Paul Spellum greens. And then the other one's going to be Puerto Rico Open. All of these courses, guys, as you can tell, they're actually not in the States. They're all offshore. So those are going to be the course comparisons you're going to want to look at. And a lot of those top golfers do not go to these events. So familiarity on these putting greens is going to be key. And just looking at Tony Finau, Connor, last year, he probably could have won this event. He lost 0.5 strokes putting. Just couldn't putt on these greens. So definitely want to be a good putter, good familiarity on those golf courses I went over.
Yeah, and that's tough this week with him. He could obviously win, but not the best putter, and he's 8-1. No. Come on now.
It is pretty low. It is. I think it's too low.
I mean, it's warranted because of the field, but it's just tough.
It is, but it's just a hot putter. It really is a hot putter. It's just I was out on the golf course this weekend, guys. As everyone knows, that's a weekend warrior. You get that putter rolling, all of a sudden you're making pars, maybe a couple birdies here and there, but the flat stick isn't going. Then the rest of the game, it all of a sudden becomes more tough, more of a challenge. So definitely, I'm probably going to be avoiding Tony Finau for the most part, Connor. But yeah, some stats we want to look at, guys. Par 3 scoring, par 5 scoring, tee to green, free putt avoidance, bunker saves, and then 150 to 200 approach shots. Just because these par 4s, buddy, 490, there's 4 of them that are over 490, 496, 498, 505, and 520 par 4s. So these are monster par 4s. You're going to want to be able to take advantage of the distance off the tee for sure. Yeah. Without going on too much more about any more stats, actually, I'll go over one more for you. I think this is key, Connor. This is top trending last 5 events. All these golfers' last 5 events. Who's trending? Who's getting the most amount of strokes on the field? Number 1, as you can guess, is Jon Rahm, 2.57. 2 is Finau, 1.99. Number 3, this guy is pretty much second or third or fourth favorite, Connor. That's Wyndham Clark. Yeah, he's gained 1.73 strokes on the field his last 5 events, playing really good golf. Ben Martin, Woodland, Rye, Wallace, Cole, Rogers, Lashley, Jaeger, Shelton, Putnam, and Joseph Bramlett are also playing quite well of late. So those are some top 15 trending well.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. What's going on in the chat? Before I get too much more into my picks here, I just want to give a shout out to everyone there. Preston, what's going on, my guy? Shout out to Wisconsin's finest there, Preston and the fam. Big Show, what's going on? Big Show, Nut Flesh Out on top of the morning. Hopefully it's nice for you, or it's a little wet here where I am, a little cold, so I won't be out golfing today. But shout out to you there, the Nutflesh Island family. All right, Connor, I think it's time. Let's get into some picks here. I got 6 of them this week, guys. It was tough, but without holding back too much more, there's the picks. There it is. Big Show's got the graphic for you guys. We're starting it off with Hogard. Now, Hogard's a golfer that plays a lot in the DP World Tour, guys. It's tough to get his stats necessarily on the sites I like to use, but I found some key stats here, Connor. Last week, playing in the Zurich, he was with Olesen. I think a Theoborn Olesen, I believe that's who it is. Not exactly a household name. He lost 10.5 strokes, shots gained. What did Hogard do? He gained 7.6. Like Hogard, you want to talk about a guy that was carrying the team. Hogard was completely carrying those two. I just want to see if I can bring up what they finished.
Ripping on Olsen, huh?
He was awful. I saw a stat there. They said Hogard, like the biggest discrepancy in golfers, he was plus 7.3 shots gained on the field. That's just overall. Where Olesen, Theoborn Olesen, a couple of Danish players here, he was minus 10. So Hogard, guys, he's a really good offshore golfer. Like when I say that, I mean like Puerto Rico Open, Corrales, Mayakoba. I can tell you right away, Corrales, Connor, he almost won that. Matt Wallace won that about a month ago. But Hogard was right on his tail, gained 3.67 strokes tee to green, also gained strokes putting, and that was on the same surfaces we're going to be dealing with here. I'm a golfer that's in really good form right now. He's also trending here. He's gained 1.13 strokes on the field in his last 5 events. This is a golfer that his number is a little bit low here. I found 30-1. Shop around. You can even find better. I found 33-1, but we locked in 30. But yeah, Connor, I think this guy's alive, Hogard. He's just a golfer. A lot of these DP World Tour guys, they're battle tested, and a lot of their game is going to be on the coast for the most part, dealing with a lot of wind. I don't have the weather, unfortunately, right now, but his course comparison and how well he did last year, brother. I got to take Nikolai Hogard. He's going to be at 30-1, guys. And first round leader, I got him at 40-1. Top 10 this week. I see a top 10 finish in his game as well. It's going to be at plus 280. Just fits the bill this week, Connor. What do you think of Nikolai?
Yeah, I think he's a good golfer. These are all guys, maybe not the regular people know, but they're on our radar. Can he win this week? I think at least over 30-1 is all right. It's crept at some books below and 25-1. And the way he's been playing, maybe that's warranted. So I was just hoping, as long as if he was in that 35, 40-1, even 30, I think there's good value with him, right there.
Yeah. He had the second place at the Corrales. That was March 26th. He's had a T5 in Thailand, T10 at the Abu Dhabi, T10 at Australia. His game travels very, very well.
Yeah. One thing though, he needs to win. Like, so, could this be an event that he could do it? Yeah. There's been too many where he hasn't got it done. So, but we're maybe worth a shot as long as you got that value with him, I think,
And like we're kind of, and if it's quite an if, but if Rahm doesn't have his A game, he's still going to be probably top 20 if he doesn't have his A game. But if Rahm, the door is wide open. You take those two guys out of the mix, it's really wide open. And I think Nikolai Hogard, his last win there, Connor, was 2021. He won the Italian Open. And that was after, playing really good form leading in. So I think his game's right there. I'm going to take a shot with him, especially after fighting that stat last week about how good his game was after playing with old Theoborn Olesen. So take a shot this week, guys, with a Hogard on the list. Number 2.
I'm seeing good weather, a little bit of wind, not to 10, 80 degrees, 83 degrees.
That'll help it not play as long, so then they'll get more rollout. Greens should be a little more firm and fast. Bunker play should come into play more with the rollouts in the fairway. So, bunker play I think is going to be very important with being this course, guys, being the 6th most bunkers on the tour. All right, number 2, get her out of here. Rogers, 36-1. We're going to old Patrick Rogers. Now, this is not exactly a golfer I normally would take, especially at this number, Connor. I found 36-1, but the guy fits the bill. Wyndham Clark and Rogers, they're very similar golfers, I find. I'm just getting a much better number here with Rogers. I'll tell you why, guys. He had a 10th at this event last year. He gained 1.24 strokes putting at this event. He was one of the top putters on these Paul Spullum greens. I feel like I'm butchering that every single time I say it. But anyways, 41st, Patrick Rogers is tee to green, which is a key. When you have a golf course this long, you want to be able to take advantage of that on the field. His approach, Connor, from the fairway and the rough from 150 to 200 last 12 months, he's gaining strokes on the field slightly, but he's at least gaining strokes. And then trending wise, he is the, what is he? He's plus 0.64. That's the 10th best trending wise in this field. He's 61st in 3-putt avoidance. He's 58th in par 3 scoring, 19th in par 5 scoring. Good bunker play at 27th. Everything is like in the top 50 right there for Patrick Rogers. So I'm going to take a shot with him. I was looking at Wyndham Clark, but I'm not going to take Wyndham at 18-1. You can get 36 on Rogers. I think they're a similar golfer. So give me Patrick Rogers here, Connor. He's going to be 36-1, 45-1 first round leader, and then a top 10 on our guy, Patty Rogers, who just rips the ball too. His ball speed's up there. Club head speed's up there too. It's the best of them. So when you have club head speed and ball speed, that means the ball is going to go far, to say the least. So Patrick Rogers, Connor, I think he's got a shot, plus 320, top 10.
Shout out to Nutflush's birthday this weekend. Yeah,
hey.
Hit me up. Nutflush. Shout out to my guy. Rogers, streaky golfer. This guy, like he's off the map. He's kind of like I think he might be a little more consistent, better than Cameron Champ. But a guy like that, a little bit to me. And that's why it's tough to take him with consistency. But he's been playing better golf as of late. You mentioned, and last year you hit it, 10 here. He's 13 under. So you got to be feeling good. And I think that is the better look. Better value than taking Clark. And Wyndham Clark's playing great golf right now. Under 20-1 is tough. So
what did Wyndham finish last year here, guys? He finished T67. He lost 0.1 strokes putting. Like his putting compared to Rogers gained 1.24, finished 10th. I think it's just Wyndham Clark, how well he did too last week with Bo Hostler. That could be another reason why his number's so low. But, give me Rogers here. His number's definitely, he's actually 6-6. He checks all the boxes. And he's also had a T27 at the Mayakoba, I believe it was. So he has finished well at these offshore courses. So take a shot here with Rogers. Playing good golf. Could very well win this if one of these big names don't show up. Top 10, 2 plus 320.
Another guy. Try to get him over 30-1. Shop around because he's dropped too in a lot of books. Under 30. I see some places he's 25-1. So just shop around with him.
Definitely. Yeah, I could see his number dropping. He's been getting a lot of strokes in his last 2 events. Did miss the cut of the Corrales, but again, his golf is in the right place. Number 3 on the card here. Don't usually take this guy. We're doing old Jaeger bombs. We'll be drinking Jaeger bombs this weekend if this guy pulls it through. This is Germany's finest. This is Deutschland's finest. Steven Jaeger, Connor. Steven Jaeger. Don't usually take Steven Jaeger, but his game fits this bill. He's a smaller golfer, but surprisingly, he actually rips the ball. I didn't think he hit the ball as far as he did. He's actually 59th in distance, 32nd in par 3s, 74th in par 5s. But the big stat for me, Connor, is he's trending in the right direction and he putts well on these greens. I know it's only been one year sample size from last year, guys, but he finished T15. He's 44th tee to green. He gained strokes in the fairway from 150 to 200. 0.63 strokes gained in the last 5 events. So he's playing well. His putting's been strong. 87th in 3-putt avoidance. You know what? I'm going to give a shot with Steven Jaeger, guys. 60-1. I could see him coming out strong in the first round on our guy on Germany's finest here, Steven Jaeger. Just going to bring him up real quickly, Connor, just to kind of see what he's been doing of late. And his approach and off the tee has been really strong. His putting has been what's been letting him down, to say the least. His putting just has not been there, but we're going on a completely different surface here on the Paspalum. And what did he do last year here? Gained 0.7 strokes, baby. Yes.
Yeah, he did.
So you know what? I'm gonna take a shot with him, man. I really am. His off the tee and approach has been right there. It's just he can't putt, unfortunately, and that's been all on the Bermuda for the last 2 months here. So I think the change of surface is going to be good for this guy. And the number is right, in my opinion. His number's dropping, too. I'm seeing 55 and 50 on Steven Jaeger. So take a shot with him, guys. Top 20 as well. You can get him at plus 230. Connor, what do you think of young Jaeger bombs?
I like him. I don't really love, the price, I guess. The number you got's a lot better than those. I see 50-1, seeing 45. And he played well last year here, like you mentioned. T15. He's kind of in with those guys like Griffin, Reevy. They were all what, like 13 or 10 under, whatever, the tie for 15th guys there.
Yeah.
It's just because I want to dig a little deeper with those guys. Like Smalley played well. You mentioned Ben Martin. They're kind of in this range, the 50 to 60. Garrick Higo. This guy's played great for me all year in cash tickets for me.
That's my lefty,
the lefty, but
my guy.
yeah, and then Brandon Wu, another one so I'm gonna go through it, and he played well here. I think I'll be zeroing in last year, but yeah, they're kind of in this range I'm looking at.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Steven Yeager, 5 to 6 check marks on the key stats here. Just going to come down to his putting, but yeah, Aaron.
Like you said, this is a place that's easier to putt for some of these guys that struggle. It's not, it's not blazing fast. It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be too
horrible
tough
for these guys. Yeah,
three putt avoidance, I think, is going to be key. I think when you have such large greens, if you can, along with. It's a tough golf course because there's a lot of sand. It's quite wide, though, the fairways, yet there's 12 holes with water. So you do want distance, but you do need to be accurate. So ball striking would be important here. And then even that approach from 150 to 200, you're going to have it's kind of like me the other day there, having approach shots where you're having those longer irons in it. It's a different ball game, having 5-6 irons in compared to 7-8 irons for these golfers. So you definitely you want to look at those longer irons here at this golf course. And Yeager was checking the boxes. He was also T14 at the Honda. And what does the Honda have? A lot of water. So I'm going to give Yeager Bombs a shot here this week. 60 to 1, also 66 to 1, or sorry, 60 to 1 as well. First round leader, and then plus 230 on the top 20. Keeping her moving here, guys. Robbie Shelton. This isn't a guy, household name to say the least. I almost had to double take on old Robbie Shelton. But the reason why I took Robbie Shelton this week, guys, he's 40th tee to green, Connor. And then the big stat for me was from 150 to 200, just like I was saying, guys. He's a really good longer iron player. He's gaining strokes from the fairway and from the rough. Now, his distance isn't that long off the tee. He's only 161st off the tee, but he's trending in the right direction as well. Gained 0.62 strokes in his last 5 events. So he's playing well. Now, he hasn't played at this event, but his stats really check out a lot of boxes, as I like to say. And he's 47th in 3-putt avoidance. So he hits really good approach shots from the 150 to 200. He's going to avoid 3 putts, and his tee to green's 40th. So, you know what? With all those numbers, I got to take a shot with him. And also, another big stat going for him is he's 7th in sand saves this year. So if he does get in a little trouble, I think
sneaky numbers there.
Yeah, on Robbie Shelton. Yeah, I know he's got some stuff going for him this week. I think I've never taken Robbie Shelton, but again, if these big names don't show up with a lower purse, I think Robbie Shelton can say, hey, just like when Taylor Moore, I believe it was, came knocking on the door and came out of nowhere. Robbie Shelton, give me a Shelton here, 66 to 1, not to Sheraton, but to Shelton, 66 to 1, 60 to 1 first round leader, and then top 20 is going to be plus 230 as well. Quick take on Shelton there.
I like it. That's a good name that not a lot of people probably are betting. You know what I mean? This week that could be sneaky. So especially the top 20, something like that. I really like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and shout out to MMA Locker Room in here. Loshak, shout out to Loshak. If you guys didn't watch that video, check it out on Pub Sports Radio. You can see Loshak swinging the clubs. Good to see. Great to see. He had the hat tied on the belt, I believe it was, like some old school, like from the 80s. I loved it. It was great.
It's a great shot. As the guy in the back says, it's the best shot you hit all day.
We got to do that again. We got to do it again, brother, but on 18 holes and just get the cards, get the full footage going like the Barstool guys do. I think we could get good content with that. But as I like to say, guys, let's keep her moving. Next on the list is number 5, Ben Martin, 66 to 1. Now, you were talking about Ben Martin, and he was a late ad. It was between him and Smalley, to be honest. It was between Smalley and Ben Martin, and I went with Ben Martin here, Connor. The reason why I took Ben Martin is just he's trending in the right direction, where Smalley, he's actually lost 0.52 strokes in his last 5 events. Now, he does he's very similar to Ben Martin. They have really good tee to green. 3-putt avoidance is fairly solid. But what Ben Martin does and Smalley's not is Ben Martin's gained 1.06 strokes in his last 5 events. And he's also finished. He did miss the cut, Connor, at this event, but he gained 0.47 strokes putting. So his putting wasn't the problem at this event. It was his tee to green, and his tee to green's in a much better place. Gained strokes from the rough from 150 to 200, and he also had a T8. If we look back, guys, to the Corrales, he finished T8, gained 2.42 strokes tee to green. Great course comparison. If any golfers can light the lamp at any of those 3 courses, I think it's going to transfer over here, Connor. And at 66 to 1, what else can I say about Ben Martin? All of his stats here: 118th par 3 scoring, 74th par 5. It was between him and Smalley, Connor, and I went with Ben Martin. I actually have guys Smalley first round leader. I'll get this out of the way really early. 60 to 1 Smalley first round leader. I think he could come into the gate hot early, but I just think him not trending in the right direction in the last 5 events, I don't think he can hold up. Where I think Ben Martin, he can play those 4 rounds a little better than Smalley's going to do this week. So that's why I took Martin over Smalley, 66 to 1.
It's tough to go. You really got to look at some of these guys because they haven't probably played a ton of rounds here. You can't take just last year his missed cut, too crazy with it. You know what I mean? And you can't go too crazy with Smalley. So, he played well here last year, T6, but you just talked about it. You're just going that, he played well here because his golf game right now, you really don't want to take him. So those are kind of the things you need to go with. And so, yeah, I don't blame it. And it might keep Smalley. There's a few other guys that I've already seen that just aren't playing the same golf, that they were last year. So it's tough to take them.
Exactly. And similar to Jaeger, I believe Ben Martin, guys, he's really good approach. Looking at his approach, he hasn't gained a lot on the field, but he hasn't lost strokes since January on his approach. So this is a tee to green
monster.
He's been
good. He's cashed really for me twice, Ben Martin, too, on top 20s.
T10 at the Valero, T10 at the Valero, T8 at the Putacana, T5 at the Honda. And the Honda, again, with all that water, that's exactly what I want to see. A guy that's able to 4 rounds, he was able to keep the ball in play with T5. So
I like
Ben
that.
Martin.
I like the course comparison. And I just wish, I remember that week I didn't take him top 10, which was why it was like 18 to 1, because it was like 8 or 9 to 1. 20.
Yeah, I respect you in the fact you find those longer golfers and can really snipe those top 10s at like plus 700. That's something I'm not as good at. I find I like to get kind of that like 20 to 100 to 1 range, but definitely Ben Martin. He's on my radar now. He's on my radar.
Yep, he's playing good golf.
Definitely. All righty, guys. We got one more. Throw some questions if you guys got any questions about any golfers that you're going to be interested in. As always, shoot us a message there. Eagle47_ and Conor Mac picks on Twitter. We're going to be, I'll get to the schedule. We'll get a little schedule change going forward. We'll get to the end of the show. We're coming up to the close here, guys. I got one more golfer, though, and then Connor's going to get to some of his picks, and then we're going to close it up here. But Nate Lashley, he's going to be 6th on the 6-pack here, 100 to 1 on our boy Nate Lashley. Now, he's 100th tee to green, Connor, but here's the but. He's 3rd in 3-putt avoidance. So as long as he's not getting in too much trouble off the tee, he's playing well. He's gained 0.63 strokes on the last 5 events, and he also gained 1.1949 strokes putting last year at this event. And he has a T3 at the Puerto Rico Open. That's right, and that was on the Postpalm as well. So at a longer shot, even in some DFS, maybe if everyone in the States is on the DFS. Unfortunately, I can't do it in Canada at the moment. But Nate Lashley, I think he could be a sneaky play. I got him top 20 top 20 as well, guys. Plus 320, first round leader, 80 to 1. And then an outright, you know what? Just worth a couple bucks. McDonald's money, as I like to say, on Nate Lashley. Just a golfer that's playing good golf. Just going to come down to his off the tee, in my opinion. Because he has lost a little bit of strokes off the tee in his last few events. But when you look at these offshore coastal events, he actually finished T7, Connor, at the Sony Open in Hawaii, and then T3 at the Puerto Rico Open. So in the States, it might not be where you want to take Nate Lashley, but on these coastal courses, that's where we are going to take Nate Lashley. So 100 to 1, sprinkle a couple bucks on.
Bingo. I think this is a great one. I already have him written down. I played here well last year. And this one's tough. It could be like a split for you, but I think it's top 20 or, and it's top 10. This is the 700 or more you could get with him. That could be very good. And you talked about it. He had a couple where he missed the cut, like you mentioned, but was playing good golf. before that. The Puerto Rican Open, you had the T20 at the Genesis. You mentioned the 7, the T7 at the Sony. And I like how he played just last week at Heritage. And, you know, I mean, it was like T31, but, you know, he made the cut. And just a sneaky guy. I think he's a little bit too far down. A little sleeping on him a little bit. So,
and I'm just thinking too, Connor, the fairways are wide open, so it's not like it's not gonna be too tough to hit these fairways. So off the tee, I don't think it's gonna be too much in play. It's gonna be the approach, and I'm looking at his approach, Connor. He's gained approach on the field 5 of the last 6 events. The only one he didn't was the Players. So his approach is in the right place, and he gained strokes putting at this event. You know what? Take a shot this week, guys. 3-putt avoidance. He's also 9th. Nate Lashley, 100-1. Got any picks there, Connor, before we get out of here?
Yeah, just a couple of guys. You know, he missed the cut here, just got his win. You mentioned it, is Wallace. Just because I think there's value at this number. It's just too far. Over 70-1. Like, I think he's too good of a golfer. Like, it seems like if this was a few weeks ago, I don't know. Like, I think should be in that 45-1. Yeah. Don't you? I mean, that's what I think. With Wallace, you mentioned Lashley's one guy I put down. Brandon Wu, the guy who played well. I've had this guy a couple times. He has these events where he just like all of a sudden sneaks up, and I think he could do that again this week, especially with this kind of watered down field with Wu. Yes. Lanto Griffin, my guy. I think he played well, top 20 last year. Lanto, my guy here, and this is a top 10 that could be sneaky, almost 8. You know, he's 8-1, or maybe take his top 20, probably around 4-1. I think he had a T15 here last year. One of the other guys that I looked for, you know, an event like this. So those are some of the guys I had listed. You had mentioned Martin, Higo. There's a few I'm narrowing in on, but let's have a week. Let's cash.
Let's have a week. Let's have a week.
Shout out to the chat too.
Shout out to the chat, everyone. Let's have a week. PGA Pub here, guys. A little change in the schedule. I just want to let you guys know. So what we're going to do is we're going to be focusing on the majors. So this is going to be your spot for any of the majors. We're going to have special guests. We're going to have earlier videos for you guys, more graphics. It's going to be bigger and better pretty much for you guys for golf going forward. Now, we're going to look into the elevated event still, so stay tuned for that. Eagle47 on Twitter, Pub Sports Radio, guys. You can follow us for all the updates on the golf show. But we'll see you guys for sure for the PGA Championship, which I'll actually be at. So there'll be definitely a bunch of hype for this year's PGA at Pub Sports Radio. And stay tuned. We could have the Wells Fargo that's coming up next week. So stay tuned for that.
Hold on. Right before we dip to, we will have those. And hopefully, maybe a couple of these, the more elevated ones. And definitely when we get down to the playoffs.
They're like majors, eh? They're like majors.
Yeah, they're big. But definitely. Shout out to chat. Everyone hit the like. But big deal too. You know, go to Prize Picks, hit promo code Pub Sports. You know, put the hundo, match you the hundo. Same thing, a regular book, my bookie. There it is. Put in $1,000, they'll match you the $1,000. The same thing with Bet Online. Just Pub get it done. Support us here at Pub Sports Radio. We appreciate it. That is it. So I want to ask. Yeah, that Prize Picks is great too. Put the hundo, match you the 100, and the golf is great. It made me a good amount of money. I could struggle, but I think there's advantages, on Prize Picks with the golf.
I've seen you, man.
And you can do multiple sports doing it too, which is great. So you don't need to put 3 golf, for one day, but hitting fairways and greens and shit like that. I think you can snipe a few, some of these guys because there's some value there. So get it and win some money betting golf. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Connor. Check that out, guys. Prize Picks, promo code Pub Sports. And we appreciate all the support as always, guys. It wouldn't be Pub Sports Radio if it wasn't for everyone in the chat, everyone supporting week in and week out. So thank you guys so much. We'll be back for sure for the PGA Championship, which is in a couple weeks. And stay tuned for next week, guys. We could maybe have something going for the Wells Fargo. It's going to be an elevated event. But until then, guys, hit them straight, cash some tickets, get those birdies juices flowing. And Connor, be good, brother. I'll see you pretty soon, hopefully.
Sounds good, boys.
Okay, guys.
Later.
Be good.